and rainy evening or vice versa. What brings in such differences? Atmospheric condition in our country fluctuates very often. That is why we experience differences in the atmospheric parameters such as temperature, rainfall, humidity, etc. We do not wear the same type of clothes in the month of June and in the month of December. Why? The temperature of the atmosphere is not same in both the months. Hence, we wear winter clothes in the month of December and summer clothes in the month of June. Why does it rain so much in the month of June-July? Various atmospheric phenomena bring rainfall during a particular time in our country. When do we sweat more and why? We sweat more in hot weather when there is more humidity in the atmosphere. Various elements of the atmosphere temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity and precipitation fluctuate in various times, even within a day. The state of atmosphere over an area at a particular point of time determines the prevailing atmospheric condition of the area. This can be termed as weather. Do you feel the same weather condition in every month of the year? No, they are different, but there is some common pattern over a few weeks or months. That is, days are cool or hot, windy or calm, cloudy or bright, and wet or dry. On the basis of the generalized monthly atmospheric conditions, the year is divided into seasons such as winter, summer, or rainy seasons. Hence, we have a generalized pattern of various seasons which prevail the same every year. We experience a particular range of average temperature, rainfall, or other parameters with slight variation over a long period of time. The sum total of weather conditions and variations over a large area for a long period of time, generally more than 30 years, is known as climate. What differences do you find between weather and climate? Do we find the same type of climate in region A, region B and region C? There are perceptible regional variations in climatic conditions within the country. In summer, the mercury occasionally touches 50 degrees centigrade in some parts of the Rajasthan desert, whereas it may be around 20 degrees Celsius in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir. On a winter night, temperature at Dras in Jammu and Kashmir may be as low as minus 45 degrees centigrade. On the other hand, Thiruvananthapuram may have a temperature of 22 degrees centigrade. Similar situation prevails with precipitation in various parts. The annual precipitation varies from over 400 cm in Meghalaya to less than 10 cm in Ladakh and western Rajasthan. Most parts of the country receive rainfall from June to September, but some parts like the Tamil Nadu coast get most of its rain during October and November. In certain places, there is a wide difference between day and night temperatures. In the Thar desert, the day temperature may rise to 50 degrees centigrade and drop down to near 15 degrees centigrade the same night. On the other hand, there is hardly any difference in day and night temperatures in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands or in Kerala. Do you know the reason for such differences? Bangalore is located 920 meters above the sea level and Ooty is located 2240 meters from the sea level. Which one of these two areas would be colder and why? The temperature in Ooty will be much colder than Bangalore as one goes from the surface of the earth to higher altitudes. The atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Can you infer one of the major reasons for varied climate in Delhi and Mumbai? The sea exerts a moderating influence on climate. As the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influence decreases and the people experience extreme weather conditions. This condition is known as continentality. There are 6 major controls of the climate of any place. They are latitude, altitude, pressure and wind system, distance from the sea or continentality, ocean currents and relief features. Let us know the factors that affect Indian climate. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country from the Run of Kutch in the west to Mizoram in the east. Hence, areas lying south of the tropic have characteristics of tropical climate and areas lying north of tropic have subtropical climates. Secondly, altitudinal variation affects the climate of our country. India has mountains to the north which have an average height of about 6,000 meters. India also has a vast coastal area where the maximum elevation is about 30 meters. The Himalayas prevent the cold winds from Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. The climate in India is also governed by the following atmospheric conditions: pressure and surface winds, upper air circulation, western cyclonic disturbances, tropical cyclones. Northeasterly winds originate from the subtropical high-pressure belt of the northern hemisphere. They blow south, get deflected to the right due to the Coriolis force, and move on towards the equatorial low-pressure area. What is this Coriolis force? It is an apparent force caused by the Earth's rotation. The Coriolis force is responsible for deflecting winds towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere. This is also known as Ferrel's law. How is the atmospheric pressure over India during winter? During winter, a high-pressure area develops near to the north of the Himalayas. Cold, dry winds blow from this region to the low-pressure areas over the oceans to the south. In summer, a low-pressure area develops over interior Asia as well as over northwestern India. This causes a complete reversal of the direction of winds during summer. Air moves from the high-pressure area over the southern Indian Ocean in a southeasterly direction, crosses the equator and turns right towards the low-pressure areas over the Indian subcontinent. Oh, Coriolis force is the reason why southeasterly wind becomes southwesterly as they cross equator. This wind India experiences in summer is known as the southwest monsoon winds. This brings a huge amount of rainfall to India. Why do our country experience cyclone in the north and northwestern part of our country during winter? The upper air circulation in this area is the reason for such disturbances that is dominated by a westerly flow. An important component of this flow is the jet stream. As they are located approximately over 27 to 30 degree north latitude, they are known as subtropical westerly jet streams. Jet streams are westerly winds in the troposphere that covers a narrow belt of high altitude at about 12,000 meters above the Earth's surface. Their speed varies from about 110 km per hour in summer to about 184 km per hour in winter. In summer, the subtropical westerly jet stream moves north of the Himalayas with the apparent movement of the sun. An easterly jet stream, called the subtropical easterly jet stream, blows over Peninsula India approximately over 14 degrees north during the summer months. Subtropical easterly jet is the cause for cyclonic disturbances in eastern coastal region of our country. Despite all the variations, our country falls under a unique climatic pattern. The climate of India is described as the monsoon type. In Asia, this type of climate is found mainly in the south and the southeast. The word monsoon is derived from the Arabic word mausim, which literally means season. Monsoon refers to the seasonal reversal in the wind direction during a year. When do we experience most of the rainy days in a year? Most of the rainy days we experience in the months of June, July and August. Why do we have most of the rainfall only during specific months of the year? As Indian climate is influenced by monsoon, we get rainfall during few months as the monsoon wind reaches our country. The monsoons are experienced in the tropical areas roughly between 20 degrees north and 20 degrees south. There are some other mechanisms associated with monsoon in our country. For example, the shift of the position of Intertropical Convergence Zone (ITCZ) in summer over the Ganga plain has an influence on bringing monsoon to the subcontinent. What is this Intertropical Convergence Zone? The Intertropical Convergence Zone (ITCZ) is a broad trough of low pressure in equatorial latitudes. This is where the northeast and southeast trade winds converge. This convergence zone or the equatorial trough lies more or less parallel to the equator and normally positioned about 5 degrees north of the equator. But it moves north or south with the apparent movement of the sun. It is also known as the monsoon trough during the monsoon season. The differential heating and cooling of land and water creates low pressure on the landmass of India, while the seas around experience comparatively high pressure. The presence of high pressure area east of Madagascar, approximately at 20 degrees south over the Indian Ocean. Intense heating of Tibetan Plateau in summer results in strong vertical air currents and the formation of low pressure over the plateau. The movement of the westerly jet stream to the north of the Himalayas and the presence of the tropical easterly jet stream over the Indian peninsula. Changes in the pressure conditions over the southern oceans also affect the monsoons. Normally, when the tropical eastern South Pacific Ocean experiences high pressure, the tropical eastern Indian Ocean experiences low pressure. But in certain years, there is a reversal in the pressure conditions and the eastern Pacific has lower pressure in comparison to the eastern Indian Ocean. This periodic change in pressure conditions is known as the Southern Oscillation or SO. A feature connected with the SO is the El Niño phenomenon, in which a warm ocean current that flows through the Peruvian coast in place of the cold Peruvian current every 2 to 5 years. The changes in pressure conditions are connected to the El Niño. Hence, the phenomenon is referred to as El Niño Southern Oscillations, ENSO. The difference in pressure over Tahiti in Pacific Ocean, which is located 18 degrees south latitude and 149 degrees west longitude, and Darwin in northern Australia in Indian Ocean, 12 degrees 30 minutes south latitude and 131 degrees east longitude, is computed to predict the intensity of the monsoons. If the pressure differences were negative, it would mean below average and late monsoons. The duration of the monsoon is between 100 and 120 days from early June to mid-September. Around the time of its arrival, the normal rainfall increases suddenly and continues constantly for several days. This is known as the burst of the monsoon. The monsoon arrives at the southern tip of the Indian peninsula generally by the first week of June. Then it proceeds as to the Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal branch. The Bay of Bengal branch advances rapidly and arrives in Assam in the first week of June. The mountains cause the monsoon winds to deflect towards the west over Ganga plain. The Arabian Sea branch reaches Mumbai about 10 days later on approximately the 10th of June. The Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal branches of the monsoon merge over the northwestern part of the Ganga plains. Can you infer what helps in merging both the branches of wind in Gangetic Plain? The lofty mountains cause the Bay of Bengal branch of monsoon winds to deflect towards the west over the Ganga plains, and hence both the branches of wind merge together in western part of Gangetic Plain. Now, let us discuss why the western part of our country receives scanty rainfall in the monsoon season. With the retreating of monsoon wind, the withdrawal of the monsoon begins in northwestern states of India by early September. By mid-October, it withdraws completely from the northern half of the peninsula. The withdrawal from the southern half of the peninsula is fairly rapid. By early December, the monsoon has withdrawn from the rest of the country. In the islands, the withdrawal takes place progressively from north to south from the first week of December to the first week of January. Now, can you tell what makes such changes in the atmospheric conditions in our country? The monsoon type of climate results into a distinct seasonal pattern of the weather conditions, and it greatly changes from one season to the other. Indian monsoon climate is characterized by 4 distinct seasons: the cold weather season or winter, the hot weather season or summer, advancing monsoon or the rainy season, retreating post-monsoons or the transition season. The cold weather season begins from mid-November in northern India and stays till February, but it is not well defined in the peninsula. The average temperature of Chennai on the eastern coast is between 24 degrees to 25 degrees Celsius, while in the northern plains it ranges between 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. During this season, the northeast trade winds prevail over the country. They blow from land to sea, and hence, for most part of the country, it is a dry season. Do we experience rainfall in the winter season? Some amount of rainfall occurs on the Tamil Nadu coast from these winds, as here they blow from sea to land. Even the western parts of the northern plains receive rainfall through cyclonic disturbances. Can you recall how the northern plains of India get rainfall in winter? The low-pressure systems originate over the Mediterranean, brings the much-needed winter rains over the plains and snowfall in the mountains. This small amount of winter rainfall is locally known as Mahavat, and they are immense importance for the cultivation of rabi crops. In which months of the year do we experience the uncomfortable hot weather? We experience a hot weather season from March to May. In March, the highest temperature is about 38 degrees Celsius recorded on the Deccan Plateau. In April, temperatures in Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are around 42 degrees Celsius. In May, temperature of 45 degrees Celsius is common in the northwestern part of the country. Towards the end of May, an elongated low-pressure area develops in the region extending from the Thar to Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east and southeast. This is also the season for localized thunderstorms associated with violent winds, torrential downpours, often accompanied by hail. In West Bengal, these storms are known as the Kal Baisakhi. Towards the end of the summer season, pre-monsoon showers are common in Kerala and Karnataka. They help in the early ripening of mangoes and are often referred to as mango showers. In which months of the year do we experience frequent rainfall? We experience heavy rainfall in the months of June, July and August. By early June, the low-pressure condition over the northern plains intensifies and attracts the trade winds of the southern hemisphere. As southwest monsoon winds blow over warm oceans, they bring abundant moisture to the subcontinent and they cover the country in about a month. Early in the season, the windward side of the Western Ghats receives very heavy rainfall, more than 250 cm. The maximum rainfall of this season is received in the northeastern part of the country. Mawsynram in the southern ranges of the Khasi Hills receives the highest average rainfall in the world. Rainfall in the Ganga Valley decreases from the east to the west. Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat get scanty rainfall. Why do you think Meghalaya plateaus receive such heavy rainfall? Do we get continuous rainfall during the rainy season without any break? Monsoon rains are interspersed with rainless intervals. These are known as breaks in monsoon. These breaks in monsoon are related to the movement of the monsoon trough. When the axis of the monsoon trough lies over the plains, rainfall is good in these parts. But whenever the axis shifts closer to the Himalayas, there are longer dry spells in the plains and widespread rain occur in the mountainous catchment areas of the Himalayan rivers. These heavy rains bring in their wake devastating floods causing damage to life and property in the plains. The monsoon is known for its uncertainties. The alternation of dry and wet spells causes heavy floods in one part. It may be responsible for droughts in the other. With the apparent movement of the sun towards the south, the low-pressure trough over the northern plains becomes weaker and gradually replaced by a high-pressure system. The months of October-November form a period of transition from hot rainy season to dry winter conditions. The retreat of the monsoon is marked by clear skies and rise in temperature. We experience hot days and cool and pleasant nights. As the land is still moist, high temperature and humidity make the weather becomes rather oppressive during the day. This is commonly known as October heat. The low pressure conditions over northwestern India get transferred to the Bay of Bengal by early November that results into occurrence of cyclonic depressions. These cyclones generally cross the eastern coast of India, cause heavy and widespread rain. Let us look at the annual rainfall map of our country. Parts of western coast and northeastern India receive over about 400 cm of rainfall. But rainfall is less than 60 cm in western Rajasthan and adjoining parts of Gujarat, Haryana and Punjab. Rainfall is equally low in the interior of the Deccan Plateau and east of the Sahyadris. What is the reason for low rainfall in the interior of Deccan Plateau? The interior of the Deccan Plateau region falls under leeward side of Western Ghats. The mountain stands as a barrier and southwest monsoon wind is unable to reach these areas. Hence, this part of the plateau region is known as rain shadow region. Owing to the nature of monsoons, the annual rainfall is highly variable from year to year.